generates serious wealth. His business was very close to the city centre, and if you go down there and you look around the grounds of City Hall, not just at the City Hall itself, the Scottish Provenance building, you can see in that built heritage the serious wealth that we once generated, and we must aspire to get back there. Imagine how transformational it would be for our society if we were to get back to those days. New life for tens of thousands of people who woke up this morning, as they did yesterday and the day before, with no real sense of purpose in their lives. Nothing really important to do. Who go to bed without a sense of having achieved something really, really meaningful, but who crave for that life, who dream to an end of the endless lost opportunities in education and employment, in health and in housing, whose lives would be transformed if they were finishing work this Friday with a few extra pounds in their back pockets. It's that change in political mindset that the Ulster Unionist Party is offering the electorate this 7th of May. So the Manifesto confirms we want to close the gaps that leave so many of our citizens feeling like second class within the United Kingdom. It means generating the wealth that closes the prosperity gap. Simply put, if a citizen in England, Scotland and Wales has £1 in their back pocket, our people have only 77 pence. It's a huge gap in prosperity. And corporation tax, as we identified at this time before the last general election, it's the single most important and powerful policy lever to close the gap. It was our idea, and now that it is within reach, we've moved to address the key questions of the rate and the date. And we've listened to the arguments from the business community, and we believe we should match the Republic of Ireland's rate of 12.5%. And as for the date, we think we should do it as quickly as possible, which is the 1st of April 2017. And we also need the Executive to make that announcement very soon, to give Invest Northern Ireland the maximum amount of time to get out there and attract the new foreign direct investment we need, and to work with those existing local companies who will now wish to expand by using that retained profit. The number crunchers think a 12.5% corporation tax rate, if the Republic stays at 12.5% and GB at 20%, will yield an additional 37,500 jobs. 37,500 new jobs. That is transformational for individuals and their families, for communities and for this society. My ambition for Northern Ireland is that we aspire to be the most attractive region in the whole of Western Europe in which to do business. I also want us to aspire to return to the days when we were net contributors to the finances of the United Kingdom, and there were such days. It was before pensions and before the health service, and so it's unlikely we'll ever get there, but the very act of trying will be transformational, not least in shifting that political mindset away from dependency and back onto wealth generation for all. And stopping our citizens feeling like second class in their own country means the full implementation of the military and the community covenants. The Armed Forces Covenant sets out the relationship between the nation, the government and its armed forces. It's a recognition of the moral obligation to members of the armed forces and their families, and it establishes how they should expect to be treated. A moral obligation to people like local Ulster Unionist councillor Captain Doug Beattie, MC. To people like Danny Kinahan, MLA, who I hope very much will soon be the Member of Parliament for South Antrim. To people like and of course to people like Andy Allen, who paid such a high price serving in Afghanistan. You know, local people have been serving in the British Armed Forces for over 300 years. Is it too much to ask that we say to them, you will not be disadvantaged because of your service? Do we really have to proceed on a nod and on a wink because we don't want to upset the sensitivities of others? No, I want the full implementation of the Covenant, and all our candidates have pledged that if elected they will do whatever they can to make that happen. We also support Northern Ireland continuing and building on its fine tradition of supplying more than our fair share of reserves. We support the renewal of Trident, ring-fencing 2% of national GDP for defence, and we will not support the notion of an EU-wide army. Those pledges or more are in the Manifesto, and they form a crucial element of the work any Ulster Unionist MP will do at Westminster after the 7th of May. Now, the Manifesto touches on matters that are not reserved to Westminster, but of course our elected reps and you out on the doorstep are acutely aware the electorate don't make a difference when they have a problem. They don't care if you're a councillor or an MP or an MEP or an MLA. If it's a problem, they want us to get it fixed. And the biggest problem that we have in Northern Ireland is Sinn Féin's refusal to deal with welfare reform and honour the commitments that they made in the Stormont House Agreement. That cannot go on any longer, folks. It won't be allowed to go on much longer because June is the next key date in our finances. And with the prospect of a £500 million hole in the 15-16 budget, the vulnerable are suffering and the next crisis is looming. This is not as good as it gets. Let us hope and offer a vote for better. So I commend this manifesto to you. I seek your support on the 7th of May. It's predicted to be the closest general election in quite some time, and some make much of the possibilities of a smaller party maybe holding the balance of power. In truth, there are so many small parties. A single member of Parliament could make all the difference. They could effectively hold the balance of power. And if we are returning to the green benches, we will have an important role to play. So who would we support come the next government? Well, we've good relations with both parties who are likely to lead any government from the 8th of May. And we will see what they have to say. We will do our best for the people of Northern Ireland, but we'll also make sure that our values are maintained and protected. Our values are not an auction item. We will not take short-term advantage if it means long-term damage to the Union and to our children and their grandchildren and to future generations. So no begging bowl approach come the 8th of May. The best outcome for the whole of the United Kingdom on the 8th of May will be a stable union, because these are very uncertain times for the United Kingdom. Scottish separatists have not gone away, despite the result of the independence referendum. The union will be recalibrated. Power will be transferred from London to nations and regions of the United Kingdom, as it has already been, not least to Stormont. And like other nations and regions, we want more power, not least the power to set our own rate of corporation tax. But we do not want to see the breakup of the Union. So if we are returned to the House of Commons, we'll do what we've done for over 100 years. We will contribute politically, economically, socially, culturally, militarily. The Union is not a one-way street, and the Union is not just about the money. I believe the best days for the Union are not just in the past, and I believe the same for this great Ulster Unionist party. So let us make it happen, folks. The 7th of May is one day with one vote and one chance to change. And in closing, I wish all the best to all our Westminster candidates. And may I say, Ross Hussey is not with us this morning because his mother, I am sorry to say, is gravely ill. And our thoughts and prayers are with the Husseys and the extended family. We have 15 candidates for the 7th of May. 20% are women. Not good enough, not by a long way, but better than some of the bigger parties. 102 years after the Commons voted to deny women the vote, I hope this great constituency of Upper Bann makes a wise decision and takes the opportunity to do something it has never done before, and elect a woman MP. So, and I acknowledge all our candidates, and I finish with this. We have a great chance, as we're in Portadown, to make it a double. Portadown FC for the Irish Cup on the 2nd of May, Joanne Dobson for Westminster on May the 7th. One day, one vote, one chance. Let's make the change.